What is up, everybody? It is your boy Scotty. You guys know you can find me on all social media platforms at Scotty Drown. Name is on the screen there. But, guys, that's not what this is about. This is about Scotty Talks NBA new season starting September 26th. It's a Monday, the Monday before NBA preseason kicks off. I'm going to be breaking down the entire NBA on that Monday, September 26th. And I'm going to be doing it throughout the NBA season, of course. But what I wanted to talk about here today is the Sixers, the Philadelphia 76ers. You know, that's my squad, the squad of the city of Philadelphia. We all got love for the Sixers here, of course. And I got a message for you guys. Sixers time for a championship is now or never.
And Philadelphia has it. Holding, gets around in front.
Oh, he's got to head to it. Set it! What a shot!
Now or never. And when I say now or never, I know everybody, coming out of this offseason, there were some surprises, right? There were some surprises, but this team is picking up steam, and I don't think enough people are recognizing how good this Sixers team really is and how big these offseason additions and these offseason moves have been for this roster. We know what they were lacking after the last postseason, right? Where they get outed in the second round again. A year removed from the Ben Simmons debacle in the playoffs, losing to the Hawks in the second round. They go out, they fall flat on their face 2 times in a row in the same exact spot, only this time to the Miami Heat, who they were just completely out-toughed by, out-hustled by. So we knew what they were lacking coming into this season. We knew the Joel Embiid injury in the playoffs didn't help. So I got a few things that I just want to highlight about this team and why it's now or never for this Philadelphia 76ers team. I think when you come into an NBA season, it is very hard to be considered an outright favorite, which the Sixers are not, and they shouldn't be. But when you look at their roster and you think about what can this team actually do, this team compared to what it was last season, where they played half a season without an all-star by the name of Ben Simmons, right? You bring in Harden mid-season, you have to get him acclimated. You have Embiid injury in the playoffs, Harden struggling with his hamstring. All of this circling around. And if we just look at that from last season to this season and think about what has been added, what has been improved, and you have to admit, if you thought the Sixers had a chance going into the playoffs last season, because you did, that's the only reason you would get behind them so hard as they enter the postseason, because you have that belief that Embiid, Harden, Maxey, Tobias, these guys can carry you to a championship. Otherwise, we don't have the Sixers flags out when postseason arrives. We don't show up and pack out every home game if we don't think they can win that. I thought they could win it last year. Embiid got injured. We know what happened in the playoffs. Obviously, I think they can win it this year, and they have a pristine opportunity to do so. Let's talk about some of the additions already. So we look at it, and I want to put this out there. This is easily the best team since the 2018-2019 team featuring Jimmy Butler and JJ Redick. This is easily the most talented team. But what I will say even further than that, this is the most tough, hard-nosed team that the Sixers have had since that Allen Iverson team that went to the NBA Finals back in 2001. That's how tough, how physical, how physically dominant this team can be on a night-to-night basis. Let's talk about what they added. PJ Tucker, the biggest name in the offseason. And I know that doesn't say much about the free agency class, but the Sixers were able to grab the most enticing piece that came out in free agency this offseason, and that was PJ Tucker. The same PJ Tucker that plays his best ball when it matters. He turned it up a notch last year in the postseason for the Miami Heat, and he ended up being their 3rd or 4th best player throughout their playoff run. Back-to-back seasons, PJ Tucker has been an NBA champion with the Milwaukee Bucks. Very next season, back in the Eastern Conference Finals with a completely different team in the Miami Heat. He finds his role, he embraces it, and he goes hard every single moment that he is on the court. PJ Tucker, man, he brings defense, he brings hustle, he brings heart, he brings grit. 41% from the three-point line last season. That is the best in his career. And guess what with PJ Tucker? Joel Embiid asked for him, and you give Joel Embiid what he wants. PJ Tucker, done. DeAnthony Melton. You trade Danny Green in a first-round pick for DeAnthony Melton, a 24-year-old guard who brings athleticism. He doesn't get enough credit for being a good shooter. He's a combo guard. He can attack the rim. He can shoot the three ball. He's a huge addition to this bench. Not a good addition. He's a huge addition to this bench because he brings characteristics that this team just simply did not have. He brings it, and it's not being talked about enough what he can come off the bench as a combo guard for the Sixers, bring instant energy. Sixers needed that. Now we talk about the latest addition, Montrezl Harrell. There's going to be the people out there, Paul Reed, this takes minutes from him, it takes minutes from Bassey. You already have so many forwards, whatever. What it does for me is it eliminates a question mark. Paul Reed is a question mark. This eliminates required minutes for Paul Reed. You don't have to give Paul Reed any minutes now. I'm not saying I wouldn't. I'm just saying you don't have to if he is not better than what he was last year. They have given themselves insurance, security, and they've given them depth at every single position. Montrezl Harrell is a former Sixth Man of the Year back when he was with the LA Clippers under Doc Rivers. He's a guy that has played with James Harden, is familiar with James Harden. That pick and roll with James Harden is going to be insane. He can score the ball. He hustles. He's tough. You see the theme here, right? Gritty. Shout out to Gritty. We already know the best mascot in sports is. Shout out to Gritty. You see what they've added here. Grit, hustle. The time is now or never. You go out, you get a former Sixth Man of the Year. This is just the latest edition, and it shows you Daryl Morey is still very active. All signs to me point to a future trade coming that's going to feature a Matisse Thybulle, a Furkan Korkmaz, a George Niang, a Paul Reed, a Charles Bassey, whatever the case may be. Something is coming. Something else is coming here. The Sixers aren't done. Daryl Morey is not done. But even if they are, this team is ready to win right now with the pieces that they got. We already know James Harden took the pay cut. That was the first step to make this team better if you're James Harden. Now the next step is something else he has been doing, and that's hooping all season. He looks healthy. He was dominating the Rico Hines basketball camps. That included players like Paul George, Steph Curry, different guys, different days, right? James Harden comes back this season. He doesn't have to be an MVP candidate. He doesn't have to be that guy from Houston. But I think he can be on some nights. And I think that's all you need from James Harden is more efficiency, more energy. And he can get back to what he is supposed to be doing on a night-to-night basis. I think elite Harden comes back this season. Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris. He gets talked about so much. So much shit thrown around about him and his contract. That shit is fading away. We're 1 year further into the contract, which makes it 1 year less significant. Right? Tobias Harris coming off a great playoff performance throughout the playoffs. He was arguably the best Sixer outside of Embiid in the playoffs. He was definitely their best defender. He was spacing the floor. He was hitting the three ball. He needs to continue that into this season, become more comfortable in that role. Tobias got married this offseason. He's always talking about positive vibrations. I think we continue that into this season. He keeps filling out that role, getting used to it, getting comfortable with those spot-up threes because he's going to get a ton of them. And I think Tobias is going to be contributing some of his best basketball that we've seen so far in his career this season. Next, Tyrese Maxey. Do we have to talk about Tyrese Maxey's potential to develop? We do, because people still doubt the man. He shouldn't have been the 21st pick in the draft. We know that by now. I'm expecting an all-star jump from Tyrese Maxey, and I'm not joking. I'm not shying away from that. You can hold me to it. I'm going to be tracking Tyrese Maxey the entire NBA season. You're going to see the Maxey tracker for sure. But I got Maxey developing even further in his third season. The question is, can he take a bigger leap than what he did in his first to second season? I don't know. You see the scoring totals go up above 18 points. You see the three-point shooting go up above 40%. Tyrese Maxey makes a huge jump in his third season. He's going to become an all-star in the Eastern Conference. Keep your eyes out. Tyrese Maxey always proving the doubters wrong. Straight up. And then finally, let's talk about my man Joel Embiid, the king of Philly, the two-time MVP snub. You think my man Embiid doesn't have the chip on his shoulder? You got to be crazy. He took an inadvertent elbow. I give that to Pascal Siakam, whatever. You got my man all messed up in the playoffs last season. Blew Philly's chance at a championship, at an Eastern Conference Finals appearance. My man Embiid is going to come back hungrier. He played some of his healthiest basketball last season up until the postseason. Played the most games in his career. Once again snubbed. Jokic is a great player. We know that. But Embiid deserved at least one of those MVPs. This year, it's not about the MVP. It's about getting to the postseason healthy. It's about taking stress off Embiid during the regular season so we get the MVP Embiid in the postseason. But where I do see Embiid shining as far as individual awards, he's going to put his name in the top 3 for Defensive Player of the Year. You got all of these aggressive, gritty, hustling defenders that are going to put out max effort. You're going to get the same exact thing from Joel Embiid. Because there ain't no way he's stepping on the court with PJ Tucker and not giving it his all. Best believe that Joel Embiid is going to make another uptick next season. It's not going to show in the numbers. It's going to show in the maturity. It's going to show in the playoffs. Joel Embiid is the king of Philly. He's going to be the king of the NBA next season. Guys, that's all I got for you for this short preview for that Scotty Talks NBA season. You see, I'm excited about the Sixers. There's a bunch of other going on in the NBA that I'm also excited about that we're going to dig into this regular season. Guys, I look forward to chatting it up with you all. Make sure to tune in every Monday and every Saturday. Scotty Talks NBA will be live. But that's all I got for you guys. Sixers, now or never. Let's go.
And Philadelphia has it.